Hello and welcome to the English Podcast with Ayush. Here, we practice English together, slowly, clearly, and step by step. Let's learn and grow your English today.
Sure. Imagine you're running a marathon, you hit mile 20, and your body just completely shuts down.
Oh yeah, you've hit the infamous wall.
Exactly, the wall.
Mm.
Your glycogen stores are depleted, your muscles are just screaming, and chemically you have zero fuel left in the tank.
Right.
But then you turn a corner and you see like a family member cheering your name, or maybe a specific song suddenly comes on your headphones.
And your entire posture changes.
Yes. You pick up your pace and you literally sprint the last 6 miles. But if we look at this strictly from a physiological standpoint, where did that physical energy just come from when the tank was supposedly empty?
Well, it's really one of the most fascinating paradoxes in human biology. We tend to treat human energy like it's a finite liquid in a glass,
What, like a gas tank?
Exactly. But situations like that marathon prove that our physical output is actually heavily regulated by these intangible psychological catalysts. The energy was always there, locked away.
It just needed the right key.
Yeah, it required a very specific psychological key to authorize its release.
And that psychological key is exactly what we are hunting for today. Today, we're focusing on you, the listener, and we're unpacking a really compelling stack of behavioral science research that maps out the fundamental architecture of human drive.
It's a fantastic set of sources.
It really is. We are looking at the actual mechanics of inspiration. And the core premise across all this research is that inspiration is not just some, fleeting, fluffy feeling or a motivational poster on a wall. It is a biological imperative.
Right, it is a functional mechanism.
Mhm.
The research we're looking at really strips away all the romanticism and frames inspiration as an active physical force.
Like actual fuel.
Exactly. It's the literal catalyst that forces your brain to release the neurochemicals required to push through friction.
I actually want to set up an analogy for how we might think about this, because the old car engine and fuel metaphor feels, a little too simplistic for what the literature is actually describing here.
I agree, it doesn't quite capture the complexity.
Right. So instead, think of your ambition, your skills, and your intelligence as this massive high-tech solar panel.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how perfectly engineered that panel is, right? It doesn't matter how much potential it has. Without light hitting it at very specific frequencies, it generates zero electrical current.
Nothing happens.
Exactly.
Base.
Inspiration is that frequency. It provides the literal charge to work hard, to endure friction, and to actually, follow through on our goals.
The solar panel analogy works beautifully because it highlights that the apparatus for success is already built inside you.
It's already there.
Yeah, but it requires an external frequency to activate it. And once we establish that inspiration is the frequency we need to generate current in our lives, the immediate question becomes,
Where do we find it?
exactly, how do we actively position our panels to catch that light?
Right. Where is the nearest source of that specific frequency? And naturally, the first place human beings tend to look is at the people who have already crossed the finish line.
The aspirational figures.
Yeah, successful people. The literature points really heavily to our reliance on them. But it highlights this very specific, almost counterintuitive dynamic.
It really does.
It shows that we aren't actually drawing our core motivation from their success. We draw it from their suffering.
Which sounds a bit dark at first.
It does. We're motivated because these individuals faced intense difficulties but refused to yield. Which makes me wonder, when we look at these figures, are we fetishizing the struggle?
That's a great question.
Or is there a functional reason our brains latch onto their pain instead of their trophies?
It's entirely functional, actually.
Mhm.
And it comes down to how the human brain processes threat and expectation.
Okay, how so?
Well, from an evolutionary standpoint, seeing someone holding a piece of fruit isn't nearly as valuable as watching how they survive the predator guarding the fruit tree.
Oh, wow. That makes so much sense.
Right. In our modern culture, we have this tendency to obsess over the finish line. We look at the billion-dollar company, the best-selling novel, the gold medal.
The highlight reel.
Exactly. But the behavioral data shows that looking at the shiny end result doesn't actually provide usable fuel.
Wait, really? It doesn't motivate us.
Not in a functional way.
Yeah.
In fact, it often creates this paralyzing gap between where you are and where they are.
Yeah.
The actual usable inspiration comes from looking at the roadblocks they had to smash through.
Because it normalizes the friction.
Yes.
Like, if I only see the gold medal and then I go out and instantly twist my ankle, my brain says, well, the gold medalists didn't twist their ankle, so you must be a failure. Just stop running.
Precisely.
Right.
The research points out that observing their hard work teaches us the actual mechanics of endurance. It recalibrates our expectations around time and patience.
So it's about shifting our timeline.
Exactly. When you read a biography of someone who failed, say, 10 times before succeeding on the 11th, you aren't drawing energy from that final victory. You are downloading the psychological framework that allowed them to survive those 10 failures.
You're learning how to not quit.
Right. That endurance teaches us how to navigate our own difficult periods. It takes the pain you're experiencing right now and categorizes it as a necessary step in the process rather than a signal to quit.
So the next time you feel like your reserves are completely depleted, when you are staring at the wall at mile 20, remember that the fuel is everywhere.
It's all around you.
You just have to be willing to actively catch the light, keep your mind open, keep engaging with the friction, and we will catch you on the next